remaining dominoes of the 2022 offseason is the future of San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy G. And this week, things got interesting as NFL Network's David Carr noted that the New York Giants could be a potential landing spot for Jimmy G. Now, we know that the Giants right now, they have Daniel Jones. They're in a weird position where this is likely going to be Daniel Jones' last year. And then after this year, they're probably going to move on because the chances of them paying Daniel Jones at this point are slim to none. But we'll get into that in just a second. First, I want to talk about the idea of the Giants trading for a quarterback. The New York Giants, right, have, ever since Eli Manning retired, they have had this big question looming over them of, is Daniel Jones the guy? I think what we found out over the last few years is that Daniel Jones isn't the guy, but he's a guy. Like, Daniel Jones is very similar to Jimmy G in a lot of ways. I think Daniel Jones, with a very good team around him, can be successful. I think Daniel Jones, with a very good team around him, will help a team get to a Super Bowl. I think that is possible. Jimmy G's proven that that's possible. I think Daniel Jones, if he was ever in a position where that spot where it was conducive to that, he could help a team do that. But the thing about quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and Jimmy G is that you will never win because of them. You will never win solely because of them. They're never going to be the driving force. There are a few quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, even Aaron Rodgers. They are going to get you to a certain level. They are going to will you to wins throughout the year. The same can't be said for Daniel Jones. The same can't be said for Jimmy G. Are they going to play well in a lot of these scenarios? Sure. But they're never going to be that guy. And that is precisely why I think, again, David Carr is not an insider, so this is reckless speculation on his part, to be honest with you. That's why I think this trade is such a bad idea. If the Giants are actually in whatever realm considering this, they shouldn't. Because this year, you're going to find out one of two things. One, you're going to move on from Daniel Jones, get a young quarterback in next year's draft, in a draft pool, by the way, that has a lot of great talent. Much better than this past year. I think this past year was one of the weaker drafts we've seen in the past, 10 years. But as far as where the Giants stand, you're in a position where you're either going to draft a young quarterback or probably get a really good young quarterback, or Daniel Jones is going to surprise the hell out of everyone and prove that he's not just a guy, he might be the guy. And because, at the end of the day, they either got to pay the man or they're not. I don't think they're going to end up paying Daniel Jones. I doubt the Giants fans disagree with me. I think at this point it's understood that Daniel Jones is a guy who has a ceiling. And if you want to have that guy who has a ceiling, who doesn't necessarily elevate the people around him, who honestly needs to be elevated by his supporting cast a lot of the times, then okay. If that's what the Giants want to go all in on, that's fine. My thing is, you already have that guy. There's no need to go out and get Jimmy G. There's no need to trade draft assets or players or what have you to go out and get a guy who's very similar to what you already have and who's probably going to be more expensive because Jimmy G does have a better track record overall than Daniel Jones. And yeah, look, if you're asking me which one of these guys is a better quarterback, I think it's Jimmy G. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. I think even if you compare Daniel Jones' future in the NFL, I think Jimmy G is still a better quarterback. Does that mean that if I'm the Giants, I'm going to go out there and get him because he might be a little better than Daniel Jones? No. Because at the end of the day, I'm not getting I'm not getting a Patrick Mahomes. I'm not getting a Kyler Murray. I'm not getting a guy who can take over a game. I'm getting a guy who can put the ball in the right place at the right time with the right people around him. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a Ravens fan. We won with Joe Flacco. And it's possible. You can win with good quarterbacks. I think that there is this, obviously you want to have a great quarterback, but there's this misnomer that every single team must have the guy. Otherwise, they have zero chance at a title. Or they have zero chance to make the playoffs. Or zero chance to compete. That's false. You know why? Because this guy right here, Jimmy G, he's been in the NFC title game, 2 of the past 3 years? 4 years? 2 of the past 4 years. He's been in the NFC title game. Like, at the end of the day, you can get to a certain level with this type of guy. Look at Alex Smith. His entire career with the Chiefs. He was probably the best at it. Like, the term game manager, if for whatever reason, is viewed as a negative or is derogatory in some way, right? Because we view game managers as guys who can just come in, put the ball in the right place at the right time, which is exactly what you're supposed to do as a quarterback, which I never got the whole thing. Like, if we're talking about that, quote, game manager type, Alex Smith was that, like, the best at that. Of, like, this entire generation, the best. And I think Alex Smith was a guy that, again, got to NFC title game as well. Got to multiple AFC championship games. Like, that's another guy you could have won with. But I just don't think the Giants are in a position where they necessarily need to. They're not this desperate. Like Daniel Jones is not bad enough to warrant them trading for Jimmy G. And Jimmy G isn't good enough to warrant them taking him over or trading assets to take him over Daniel Jones for this year. Like, I do think, like, this is the make or break year. Likely break for Daniel Jones, and they're going to move on from him. But there's no need for them to make this trade. If they do, I will laugh at the Giants because that will be the culmination of just, what has it been now? Like 10 years of complete and utter ineptitude. And we all love a good laugh, don't we? But y'all let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Are the Giants about to make a blockbuster trade for Jimmy G? I doubt it. But let me know below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.